After spending all that time choosing the lot, designing the home, and making what seemed like thousands of design decisions, construction finally began. On March 23rd, they started moving the dirt around. The only problem was that Patrice and I were back in New York for most of the build. Now I know it was driving me crazy, and probably Patrice too, wondering what was going on every day. That's when a friend of ours suggested to us to use Doug from DD Aerial Photography. We hired Doug to visit the property throughout the construction process. He took pictures of the progress and captured some really cool drone footage for us. And here's the crazy part. He charged us only $350 to document the entire build. Honestly, it was some of the best money we spent. While we were sitting in New York, Doug became our eyes in Florida. First, there was an empty lot. Then the foundation appeared. The walls started going up. The roof took shape. The windows went in. And suddenly, the home we had spent so much time designing was becoming real. Every time another group of pictures arrived, we couldn't believe how much had changed. The speed was absolutely incredible. They started moving dirt on March 23rd. And only about 9 weeks later, we had a completed house. Watching Doug's pictures and drone footage made us feel like we were here for the entire build. But seeing it through a camera was one thing. Walking through the front door as owners was something completely different. Closing day was finally here. We were excited. We were ready to get the keys, walk into our brand new house, and start enjoying it. But this is where the real craziness began. Our closing was scheduled for 9 o'clock in the morning. And at 10 o'clock, just 1 hour later, we had a home inspector meeting us at the house. The Villages gives new homeowners a very important early period to report cosmetic defects and other problems to the warranty department. 7 days. Things like paint touch-ups, scratches, cabinet alignment, chipped flooring, loose screens, those little things that might not be considered warranty issues later on. Once you start moving furniture into a house or having contractors do work, it can also become much harder to prove who caused what. So we wanted the inspection completed before we started doing anything. Here's something we definitely could have planned better. We should have booked our inspector about a month before closing. Instead, we waited until just a few days before, and the inspector we originally wanted was already booked. Luckily, we found another highly recommended inspector who could meet us that morning. When Patrice and I walked into the house, we saw everything as new and beautiful. The inspector saw something completely different. Within minutes, he started putting little pieces of blue painter's tape everywhere. There were paint touch-ups we hadn't noticed. Some of the kitchen cabinets weren't aligned properly. There was a mark in the floor. A few of the screens were too loose. And there was even a problem with one of the locks on the garage. It was amazing how many little things he'd noticed that we'd walked right past. That's why I strongly recommend having an independent inspector, even with a brand new home. You're walking in emotionally, you're excited, you finally own the house, and the inspector's walking in looking for issues. And that's exactly what you're paying him to do. But there was one thing that Patrice had already noticed on her own. The two builder light fixtures hanging over the kitchen island didn't look centered. The builder had technically followed the plans, but once everything was installed and you looked at the finished kitchen, something just didn't feel right. Patrice kept looking at those lights saying, "They're not centered." And she was right. Well, they agreed to move them. That sounds like a simple repair. Move the electrical boxes, patch the ceiling, and reinstall the fixtures. What could possibly go wrong? Well, we made another trip down for a few days while the work was being done. But as you can imagine, Patrice had scheduled a few other items and upgrades at the same time. The washer and dryer were being installed. The feature wall was being built. Other contractors were working throughout the house. And we were doing this crazy dance trying to orchestrate all these different vendors at the same time. We couldn't possibly watch everything that was happening. But thank goodness our Ring cameras did. While the electricians were working over the island, a drill fell right onto our brand new quartz countertop, and it chipped the edge. We hadn't even had an opportunity to use the kitchen, and our brand new countertop was already damaged. Fortunately, the villagers took responsibility for it. They didn't try to patch it up or tell us to live with it. They replaced the entire countertop. Well, it was aggravating at the time, but this is also where I have to give the villagers credit. Problems happen during construction, but what matters is how those problems are handled. In our case, the countertop was replaced and the lights were properly repositioned. While all of this warranty work was happening, we were also trying to turn this brand new house into our home. One of the first things we noticed was the clear glass in the front door. It looked beautiful, but it didn't offer much privacy. Anybody standing outside could look directly into our house. We weren't sure what to do about it, but as we caught a quick cocktail at the Eastport Hotel, we shared our concerns with the bartender. He came up with an amazing solution. He suggested vinyl-etched glass film for the door. Not only was it a great idea, but Brian also does window tinting on the side, and he had our privacy-etched glass installed in just a few days. Problem solved. Our friends also suggested that we have the garage floor finished. We could see that many other homeowners had done it, and it made sense to complete it before the garage started filling up with boxes, tools, and everything else we were moving into the house. We were also working on closets, molding, lighting, fans, appliances, and the feature wall in the living room. Remember, we had deliberately left several builder options out of the original design because we wanted more choices and in some cases, better value at closing. That strategy worked, but it also created a tremendous amount of work. Every decision we postponed during the design process became a decision we had to make immediately after closing. And it felt as though everybody needed access to the house at exactly the same time. The inspector was identifying defects, the warranty department was scheduling repairs, contractors were measuring, deliveries were arriving, we were shopping for furniture. And Patrice and I were trying to keep track of who was coming, what they were doing, and what still needed to be ordered. We did manage to score one nice little victory during our very expensive week. We caught a major price adjustment on our Best Buy purchases and received about $900 back through their price guarantee program. Our Plus membership had paid for itself. And then there was the biggest project still hanging over us, the pool. We had deliberately decided not to build the pool through the villages. It was simply too much to add to our plate during those already hectic design days, and we needed some time to figure out exactly what we wanted. At first, the answer was simple. No pool, no hot tub, but as things progressed, we started thinking differently. Eventually, we decided to do it now and do it right. Life is short. We planned to shop around and interview several pool companies, but sometimes fate serves up an answer with a beer at Victory in Middleton. That's where we met Josh from Blue Haven. That meeting led us to Amber, who began working with us on a 3-dimensional design for the pool and the entire outdoor area. It was simply beautiful. Looking back, here are the biggest lessons we learned from closing week. First, schedule your independent home inspection early. Do not wait until a few days before closing like we did. And second, report every cosmetic issue immediately. Even if something seems small, photograph it, document it, and submit it. Third, try to complete the inspection before moving furniture in or allowing outside contractors to begin working. Because once multiple people start working inside the house, it becomes much harder to determine what caused a scratch, chip, or mark. And finally, expect closing day to be exciting, but don't expect it to be relaxing. You may own the house, but there still will be lists, appointments, repairs, deliveries, contractors, and plenty of unexpected surprises. 9 weeks earlier, this was just an empty lot with RX on it. And now we have the keys to our dream home. The house may be finished, but we're just getting started. Because remember when we said no pool, no hot tub? Well, that didn't last very long. In our next episode of From Dirt to Doorbell, I'll share with you how a chance meeting at Victory in Middleton and a cold beer with Josh led us to Amber, who designed a 3D rendering of our backyard and how that became our biggest project yet. Because apparently, buying and building a house was only the beginning. I'm Sunshine Johnny. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in episode 4.